And this is my friend, colleague, and associate, Barry McLeish. Say hello to the audience, Barry.
Hello there. We, of course, are founder members of the Kelvinside Young People's Amateur Dramatic Arts Society, or KPADS for short. And we are here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to present for you a wee potpourri
Musical Malay
of some of the many and varied shows which we have taken part in during our long and varied careers with the Kelvinside Young People's Amateur Dramatic Arts Society. And we would just like to say at this juncture that tonight's performance is in protest. Is it not, Victor?
It is.
Protest against the government cuts which are cutting the grants of the students at this academy.
True.
It is also a general protest at the Thatcher policies of this government. Political awareness into that. But before we go any further, we would like to sing a wee song which really epitomises Victor and Barry, wouldn't you say so?
Puts Victor and Barry in a nutshell, as it were.
Yeah, so I shall now move over to the pianoforte,
and I shall amble into the auditorium.
We're the boy from Kelvinside. We take long walks. Next we play
on the banks of the Clyde.
Terribly fond.
We're terribly fond.
We like our nose.
We like our nose.
And a little bit on the side. We know it all.
We know it all.
We've been around.
We've been around.
We like young ladies.
We like young ladies.
Strapless guys.
Strapless guys.
We take them all.
We take them all.
A subtle call.
A subtle call.
And then we try them on ourselves.
Oh! You wouldn't catch me in women's clothing.
I can't catch you anyway, Victor. Those like Where are we?
Where are we?
We're at the academy.
We're at the academy.
The place is a dump.
The place is a dump.
Oh, Victor, that's bad of you.
Barry, that's bad of me.
We're the champion.
We're the champion.
To make you happy.
To make you happy. Though the surroundings are rather drab.
We're good performers.
We're good performers.
Don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
We almost got seen it.
We almost got to see it
on STV.
On STV.
We give recital.
We give recital.
The best you write.
And the best you write. Entertainment while you keep.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the actor's graveyard. Yeah. And it's very apt tonight because we're going to be digging up a few memories, aren't we, Victor?
Resurrecting songs from shows gone by.
Yes, we've got a few bones to pick with you.
All the songs which are embalmed on my memory.
Yes, not on mine, because I can't remember the lines, can I? But I think it's something like Ghosts from the Past.
Yes, people have been dying to see us for weeks.
Because we're going to be lifting the lid off the coffin of theatricality.
Let's hope we don't die a day.
No, we'll die now. Anyway, we'd like to start this wee meander down memory close by going back to the beginning of the century.
Well, we can't go back to the beginning of the century, but the song does.
That's right.
Forgot that one there.
We're going to be singing a wee song from a wonderful Ivor Novello musicale which we did many years ago.
Perhaps I should say at this juncture
Should you?
that our Ivor Novellos have been marvelled at from afar.
And we're going to do a song called Perchance to Dream. And you know it. The song we're going to do is probably, I would say almost definitely, this song from the show.
Definitely this song.
But before we do it, I am going to the box. And that means...
It's going to the box! The wonderful, magical box! What will he bring out tonight? What will he bring out tonight, ladies and gentlemen? I have it!
We'll gather lilacs in the spring again and walk together down a Kelvinside lane until our hearts have learned to sing again. When you come home once more and in the evening by the firelight's glow, you'll hold me close and never let me go. Your eyes will tell me all I need to know when you come home once more. We'll gather lights in the spring again, gather and walk together down a Kelvinside lane until our hearts have learned to sing again. When you come home once more, and in the evening by the firelight's glow, you hold me close and never let me go. Hold me close and tell me all I need to know when you come home once more. Victor, how would you describe Kelvinside for all these people in the audience who might not and perish the thought
God
of it
forbid.
if they haven't heard of it?
Well, Kelvinside is to Glasgow what the Champs-Elysees are to Venice.
Yeah. Cream of the crop.
Upmarket district of Glasgow.
Yes, that's right.
And we at the Kelvinside Young People's Amateur Dramatic Art Society are the foremost amateur musical company in the whole of Scotland, if not Glasgow.
I think Glasgow.
And we always try to be that bit different.
Yes,
don't
we do, don't we?
And the year after the Ivor Novello musical, we decided to branch out into the wonderful, wonderful world of the American musical.
Oh, I love them, I love them, I love them, I love them, I love them!
Never been of my life.
No, they still don't get that gag, do they? Cut it. Anyway, we decided to mount that wonderful musical, Call Me Madam. Madam! Oh! But that production was doomed, thwarted, pitted. Oh! Jinx, I think's what the word is. There we were on the opening night at the WRI Hall, Kelvinside, waiting for the curtains to part, when news filtered through that Renée Roberts, who was playing the leading role of the Madam, had been involved in a trolley collision in Presto's and was unable to take part in that evening's performance. Of course, as director, I was dumbstruck, wasn't I, Victor?
You were struck dumb.
What could I do?
I don't know, what did you do?
Well, what I did was, I stood in the pit and sang the words, while Ophelia Wishart, our wardrobe mistress, mimed them on stage.
That's right, I remember it now, you standing in the pit with your wee dicky bow on.
Yeah.
Nothing else, just your wee dicky bow. Oh, it's a killer.
Of course, Victor was playing the leading male role of Ambrose.
A cream of a pie.
And we're now going to recreate that scene for you with Victor singing the role of Ambrose and me singing the role of the Madam, as it were. But before we do, I am going to the box, and that means
She's going to the box! The wonderful, magical box! Bring out tonight! What will he bring out tonight, ladies and gentlemen?
I've got it!
I hear singing, and there's no one there. I smell blossoms, and the trees are bare. All day long, I seem to walk on air. I wonder why. I wonder why. I keep tossing in my sleep at night. And what's more, I've lost my appetite. No thanks, Barry. Stars that used to twinkle in the skies are twinkling. In my eyes, I wonder why.
You don't need analyzing. It's not really so surprising that you feel so strange. Yes, nice. Act goes, bitter, tender. I know just what's the matter, 'cause I've been there myself, once or twice. Put your hands on my shoulder. Need someone who's slightly younger. Down with a rubber glove. There's nothing you can take to relieve that pleasant ache. You're not sick, you're just in love. Do it. Now 1, 2, 3, oh! Don't be silly ourselves. No, I say right. Ah, that's me. Lost so standing. She's a baby. Oh, all I seem to was running around. Let me there say I once or twice. So, cause in eyes, sleep at you. And once more I lost my appetite. Thanks, Barry. Oh! Oh, step quick song, step quick song. Yeah, step quick song. The next year, ladies and gentlemen, we decided to return to the norm.
He was quite pleased.
We decided to mount one of Gilbert and Sullivan's wonderful operettas. And the one we chose to do was the Mickey Doo, wasn't it?
I was playing the part of Pish Tush,
And I was playing Nanky Poo.
which means that neither of us actually sang the song with it.
But the reason we're doing it
Yeah.
is that we'd like to dedicate it to the many and varied protégés we've had working under us at the Kelvinside Young People's African Society.
The number of talented people who have slipped through our fingers.
You wouldn't believe it.
Think of the names.
Think of the names. They're flooding back to me very slowly.
Edward Arden! Edward Arden! Have him! In the company for several years.
Yes. And what was that other wee chappie's name, the one who kept changing it all the time? Started off with Norman MacLeod. Then it went to Peter Lincoln. And now it's Sean Connery. And who was that other chappie? Ranjit Patel.
You'll have seen the film Gandhi.
Yes, we taught him everything. You see those wee things he had on? Victor taught him to crochet.
I gave him the pattern.
Yeah. Of course, you don't know him as Ranjit Patel.
No, you know him as Dustin Hoffman.
On a tree by a river, a little tomtit sang willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. And I said to him, Dickie Bird, why do you sit singing willow, tit, willow, tit, willow? Is it weakness of intellect, Birdie? I cried! Or a rather tough working a little inside? With a shake of his poor little head, he replied, oh, willow, tit, willow, tit, willow. He slapped his chest and said, tit, tit. And the cold desperation we spangled. Oh, willow, tit, willow, tit. He saw and he sighed, and the fellow he gave. Then he plunged himself into a billowy wave. That's enough billowy wave, thank you, Victor. And an echo out whispers from the side, besides grave. Oh, willow, tit, tit. Now I feel just as sure as I'm sure that my name is tit, tit. That's blighted affection that made him exclaim, willow breast, and if you remain careless and all you they have shall perish as fruit, and you will know why. Though I probably shall not exclaim as I die. Oh well. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, while I sing this next song for you, Mr. Victor McIlvaney will perform an authentic, and I mean authentic, Japanese no theatre mime dance. Picture the scene, if you will. One night, I came home to our flat at 22B Lacrosse Terrace, Kelvinside. If you're ever in the area, do pop up for a cup of tea, won't you? And we'd just been recording our latest album in the studios. It was Victor and Barry Sing the Blues, wasn't it, Victor? Yes. And I came back to the flat, and Victor was gone. Disappeared. Of course, I was dumbstruck, wasn't I, Victor?
You were struck down.
What could I do?
I don't know, what did you do?
Well, I went across to the piano to ease my conflict, because after all drama is conflict. And this is what occurred. Now, are you ready, Victor?
I'm ready.
While we perform this, or rather I perform this, Victor, as I said, will perform a Japanese no theatre mime death. Find your life, Victor.
Get heads.
Oh.
We did some shopping, he said to go. Now I find I'm sitting here on my own. Was it something I said or done that made him take his bags up and run? Could it be another smile? He's picking up a habit. Mister, can you tell me where my plate has gone? It's my hell inside man. I keep on visiting how my plate has gone. My hell inside man. Oh, I miss my hell inside man. People ask about him everywhere. What can I say? If only he would write me or call, I want an explanation, that's all. It would stop me climbing the wall. He's making up a habit. Mister, can you tell me where my plane has gone? It's like hell inside man. I keep on receiving at my plane has gone. Like hell inside man. Oh, I miss like hell inside man.
That was wonderful, Victor. Was it? Yes. They didn't think so, but I thought so. Just then, ladies and gentlemen, I heard the haunting strains of Victor's baritone voice coming up the terrace. And this, as he pauses for time to wait for Victor to change, is the haunting refrain which he sent back to me.
I am detained in a Jones convenience somewhere near the The wee man who works there stopped me in not knowing I was still alive. How could he leave me when I needed to get the shopping? I hated him, while he was sleeping like a log. I am locked up in the bar, and I do not have my thermal tights, Betty. Be sick, Mrs. Baker calling you. Oh, I wish I was back in the flat.
But soon we fell on hard times, ladies and gentlemen. We couldn't get any work. Victor and Barry seemed to be a dirty word. Victor's gerbil died.
No! Jean-Louis Barrault!
It was called Jean Genet the last time, if I remember correctly, Victor.
Well, I did have several
Oh, I
germs.
see. And worst of all, worst of all, we had to move to Maryhill. And it was at that time that the Kelvinside Young People's Amateur Dramatic Arts Society were mounting that wonderful American musical, Porgy and Bess. And there was a song in it which really epitomised the depression we felt at that time. We'd like to share that depression with you. Kelvinside, that's where the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the Kelvin is high. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your mommy's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're going to wake up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and move up to Milgay. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With Victor and Patty standing by. Kelvin's Now, ladies and gentlemen, Victor has something very important to tell you. If I was to say to use the word device, what would it conjure up in your small but ethereal mind? Tell us, tell us. I am, of course, talking about the many and varied theatrical techniques which are available to me, the foremost director's assistant in Scotland. Whilst glancing through my theatrical journals, I chanced upon the theories of a small but ethereal Swiss chappie whose name will no doubt be an enigma to most of you. Yeah. Suffice it to say, his name is Bertolt Brecht. You won't have heard of him, but I have. And his ideas on alienation enthralled me. Oh, he was up all night alienating himself. Of course, I could see the pitfalls in his original plan. Yeah. So I gave the theories the Machiavellian touch. And the show in which I was able to air my views, as it were, was the 1970-71 production, winter production, of Cabaret. Yeah. In which I rather foolishly cast the leading role of Rini, or even the leading role of Sally Bowles. I'll try and say that again. In which I rather foolishly cast the leading role of Sally Bowles to Rini Roberts. Bad mood, nightmare situation. Opening night, Rini comes up to me and says, I can't go on. There's something I have which just has to be lanced. I think she was referring to Lance Barkley, our choreographer. Quite probably knowing him. And you do, don't you? Anyway, there was nothing for me to do but to call my friend, colleague, and associate, Barry McLeish. Hello. To step into her shoes, or fishnet tights, because that's what she was wearing. And now, Mr. McLeish would like to give you his Brechtian ballad. But before I do, Victor is going to the box, and that means... What will it bring us tonight, ladies and gentlemen? I have it! And now, a few moments while Mr. Barry McLeish alienates himself from use. Ready? No! That means yes. Ballad in which McLeish reveals all. Thank you. The next song we'd like to do for you, ladies and gentlemen, is our latest hit single. It's very late, actually, isn't it? It's been our latest hit single for the past year. But it came about one evening when we were sitting in our wee flat in Kelvinside, wondering where to go on holiday. Where?
Tell it
this,
like it is.
I will. And this we saw was the outcome. But before we sing it, I am going to the box, and that means... I do get out, have some fun, but your bags and for the weekend in the sun. I said Lochroom's too expensive, and I said Saltcoats is bad. I said I'd like to see Lower Largo, and I said Barry, are you mad? Lower Largo Triangle, if it's go disappear. Lower Largo Triangle, don't go too near, don't go too near. Just see Triangle, I got the guys being dumb. So Lower Largo Triangle, here we come. Lying on my Largo, sun-kissed beach. I look up and see Barry, a stranger out of reach. I see him sitting on her sunlighter, I see him sipping tea out from her glass. And if you're wondering if I was angry, all I can say is that you needn't ask. Lower Largo Triangle, if the people disappear. Lower Largo Triangle, don't go too near, don't go too near. Get it from Triangle, you see my eyes so sad. Lower Largo Triangle, very bad. Lying lost and lonely on the rain-washed shield, when an old acquaintance says, "Hello, you're looking rather pale." And soon she's sitting on my milo, and then for a paddle. And when she says, "What about your colleague?" I say, "Well, you can go and get stuff." Lower Largo Triangle, if the people disappear. Lower Largo Triangle, don't go too near, don't go too near. Like a rabbit from Triangle, and you see my eyes so glad. Lower Largo Triangle, not so bad. Lower Largo, sweeter than a spangle.
You know, all that fingering's made me rather tired.
Oh yes, go and have a wee rest, Victor. Ladies and gentlemen, one of Victor McIlvaney's biggest ambitions, the biggest, is to appear with the RSC and to take the leading role in one of William Shakespeare's best-known shows. The title of which I cannot tell you due to theatrical superstitious reasons. Suffice to say, that it's known as the Scots tragedy. I am, of course, referring to Hamlet. I'm a bit tired too, actually.
No, I'm dreaming again. I can't go on. No, I don't know the Hamlet. I'm there.
Where are you, Victor?
The RSC stage.
Which one?
Stratford upon Avon.
Do the skull scene, Victor. Do the skull scene.
Oh. Will you prompt me?
Yes. Oh, and lo and behold, I just happen to have a copy of the text here. But remember, in dreams, anything can happen. This shows the indecisiveness of Hamlet's character.
To be. Prompt. I know it. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the sling and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles. Against a sea of troubles. And by opposing emblem, to die, to sleep no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartaches and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoted to be wished. To die.
Don't turn your back on the audience, sorry.
To die. To sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream.
Ivor Novello!
Aye, there's the rub. For who would bear the wit-screamed scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong.
He is.
The proud man's contumely.
What's a contumely then?
I don't know, I didn't write the bloody show. The pangs of despised love, oh, I know those pangs. And the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy makes. When he himself might his quietus take.
Mate.
The beer vodka.
Victor, wake up! Wake up! We've got to do the next number.
You mean it was only a dream?
Yes, but remember, in graveyards, anything can happen.
That's quite true.
Yes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the next song we're going to do for you answers the questions which people put to us when they come up to us and say, Victor and Barry, how have you done it? How have you managed to reach the highest pinnacle of the amateur musical world at such a young age too?
I sometimes wonder, well,
Do you?
yes, all the time.
Yes, they do too, don't they? And we just say to them, well, come up to the flat, have a cup of tea, and we'll sing you this wee song, don't we?
We do.
But it has sad overtones too.
Both Mr. McLeish and myself realize that our professional careers are dwindling. And life is so very, very short. And soon we will be strolling up that stairway to that great amateur operatical society in the sky. But before we go, we'd like this song to go down in the annals of history as being the epitaph of Victor and Barry. Find your light, Victor.
Victor, what are you doing?
I'm just creating a smoky nightclub atmosphere.
No.
So we face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear. I'll state our case, of which we're sorry. We live a life that's full. We've traveled each and every highway, but much more than this.
We did the Kelvin side.
We've lived, we've laughed, we've tried. We've had our fill, our share of losing. And now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing.
Today, we did all that may be seen, not in a shadow, not in a shadow. Oh no, not us, not us. We did the Kelvin side.
But what is a man?
Yes, what is a man?
Has he got? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not. Then he has not to say the things he truly feels. And thus and not the words of what you need, of what you need. The record shows we took the blows. The Kelvin
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're nearing the end of the Victor and Barry show. But before we go, we'd like to sing a wee song which is so suitable to these surroundings. Here we are in the actors' graveyard, and we'd like to sing a wee song now, in tribute to all the dead actors we've worked with. Many of whom are in the audience. Bill Murray, Eric Jones, Russ and Stuart and Chris. They work at this college, School of Drama in St. George's. Jean, Nora and Ross, they teach voice because they're trying to make actors speak. Pete Lincoln helps with movement, Liz with dancing, unless you do let me. Jerry, Ronnie too, they work downstairs with Mike. They're the technical staff, that's a big not finished yet. Peter Sousa's there, the man with thinning hair. Strange mannerism. He shuts at Gabby and Angie and a handful more drum. Mind you, they're a couple of bizzles. EVAs and technicals, both those courses at ACE. That you've forgotten, as most people do. The teachers, yes, the God bless them. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to sing a wee song for you, which really epitomises the feelings that Victor and I have for each other. We know that our careers may take divergent paths down the ages, years. Get on with it. But we will always have that great bond of friendship which can never be broken. He doesn't act as though he cares. But deep inside, I know he cares. This is why I'm tired. As long as he needs, I know I'll click on stage. Concentrate on it. As long as he needs. As long as life is long, I won't be friends right or wrong. Somehow I'll be strong. You see, you are lonely, then use belong. When someone needs you, you love them so. I won't be a slave. Trust. I've got to stay just as long as before you applaud. People come up to me and say, Victor, your act is old-fashioned. They do. Well, I just smile and say, yes, it is. But isn't this crazy world we live in just a little bit old-fashioned too? I've got to stay just as long as he We very presumptuously prepared a wee end. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you might know, we recently took part in the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. And we received what could only be described as a mediocre review. It was indeed, from the Scotsman newspaper. Picture the scene, if you will. There we were, as we are every morning, with a Scotsman over the breakfast table. And we looked down the columns until we found our wee review.
We were dumbstruck, weren't we, Victor?
We were struck down.
What did we do? I don't know, what did we do?
Well, we wrote a wee ditty, didn't we? And while we are performing, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be playing a double personae. Very, very good. Yeah. When I have my hand up here to your left, I am portraying the wee reporter who came and gave us a review. I have my hand to my left to emphasize the right-wing attitude he took in our crypt. Fascist! Fascist! When I have my hand like this, I am portraying myself. Very cliche. Victor here is playing not only himself, Victor McElvaney, but also myself. Very cliche. Now, it sounds very complicated, but you're sure to get the hang of it.
What are you crazy? How the hell can you see what you just said?
I was trying to get promoted. Please be quiet. I've got a sore head. By the way, I forgot to say, I only managed to catch the last 3 minutes of your play.
Did you buy a program?
No, I didn't buy a program.
Did you understand it?
No, I didn't understand it.
We gave you complimentary.
I didn't say thank you.
What you are?
Yes, I'm a wanker. We may not be all that right, but we know that you're full of yourself. We are lucky stars, not to slash, like to think you are. We can thank you and remark that you're not slash, like to think you are. Scotsman, you're full of shit. Good night.